Hi everybody! In this video, I'll compare three tractor mowers, the Toro 520xi, Kubota G1900S and John Deere GX355. I know there are lots of comparisons already on YouTube between Toro versus John Deere, the Kubota versus John Deere and so on, most of them made from the user's point of view. How well and how fast it can cut the grass, how comfortable the seats are, some operating instructions or technical details. What I will do here is change perspectives and show this comparison from the point of view of the service technician. I want to mention that the information I'm sharing in this video is based on my personal experience because all these three tractors have been in my garage for a while and I've had enough time to look at them and enjoy the view, learn about them, search for the available information, fix different problems and service these machines. Essentially, these are really great premium mowers that last for many years, which are quite expensive when newly bought and have a low depreciation rate. They're made up of very good and durable parts and deliver an excellent performance in the yard or paddock. However, there is no doubt that the cutting decks still get rusty or rotten and the spindle bearings still break if not properly cleaned or greased. The same rules apply to the tractor as well, so the engine or transmission will stop functioning one day if not properly maintained. In order for this comparison to be as fair as possible, I will exclude the cutting decks topic and I'll only be talking about the tractors themselves. The reason for doing this is because of the multitude of the options and combinations available, like 2 or 3 blade design, single or double V-belt, shaft driven with secondary belt, etc. and it becomes too complex to include everything in this video. Speaking about the tractors, I'll also try to ignore the general transmission design and only talk about the other differences I noticed when I worked on them or when I paid for the maintenance parts. So let's begin. The Toro Wheelhorse 520xi was manufactured in the United States between 1998 and 2006. This was part of the Toro's top-of-the-line lawnmower series. In 1999, its price was approximately $6,270 and was equipped with a Kohler V2 gasoline air-cooled horizontal shaft engine. The gross power of this engine is 20 horsepower, squeezed from 624 cc and sent to the Eaton 11 hydrostatic transaxle via horizontal drive shaft. The Toro is equipped with a 2-range transmission, its maximum speed being 7.4 miles and almost 12 kilometers an hour, and is the heaviest tractor from today's comparison, 459 kilograms without any attachments. The next one from today's list is Kubota G1900S. This tractor was manufactured in Japan between 1989 and 2000 in 2 versions, 2-wheel and 4-wheel steer. It is equipped with an inline 3-cylinder water-cooled diesel engine. The displacement of this engine is 619 cc and the gross power is 18 horsepower sent to the hydrostatic transmission via horizontal shaft. I was able to find some general technical details about the Kubota's transmission, but nothing about the rated torque, hydraulic pressure, maximum static weight on axle or maximum towing capacity. What I can say is that this is manufactured by Kubota as well and is the fastest one from today's tractors list. The maximum forward speed is 8.1 miles or 13 kilometers an hour. It weighs 340 kilograms without any implements. And last but not least, the John Deere GX355, a tractor mower mainly designed for the European market. It was manufactured between 2002 and 2005 at a price of around $8,450. The engine put in this model is a Yanmar V2 vertical shaft water-cooled diesel engine. The engine code is 2V78 and the displacement is 753 cc. The gross power is 18 horsepower, but for some reason they lowered it to 16 horsepower for the UK market. The power is sent to the Tough Torque K71 transmission via a double V-belt. The forward maximum speed is 7 miles or 11.3 kilometers an hour and it weighs 336 kilograms. Don't worry about all the above numbers and specifications. I already put them together in a spreadsheet and I'm sure they'll give you a better overview. From the point of view of servicing and repair, the majority of these tractors' filters are within easy reach. By using a filter removal band tool, you can easily remove all of the engine oil filters, but also the transmission oil filters from the Toro and Kubota. Although Toro Wheelhorse 520xi are really great machines, it is quite hard to find one for sale these days. This means that the availability of new parts as well as the used parts market is a bit deficient. On the other hand, I really like the 2-range transmission and the feeling I had when I drove it, because you can truly tell that the whole machine is sturdy, heavy and quite massive for a lawnmower. There is plenty of information about this tractor on the official Toro website, where you can find everything you need: the user and service manuals, original manufacturer part codes and electrical diagrams. The best thing is that everything is downloadable free of charge, so plenty of support from Toro. From the service point of view, everything went smoothly, even though changing the transmission oil might take some time compared with John Deere or Kubota because of the axis and the narrow dipstick tube port. Furthermore, the transmission oil drain plug, which is placed underneath the transmission case and can be removed with a 1/4 inch or 6 mm hex bit, is a grub screw. As this screw doesn't have a head like a bolt, for instance, it is easy to tighten it up for too much and mess with the transmission case thread. I believe a headed bolt and a washer would have been a better solution. On the other hand, an advantage when servicing the Toro transmission is the recommendation to use automotive oil 10W30 or 10W40, which is basically the same oil used when servicing the engine. So you don't have to worry about having old oil left on your shelves because you had to buy more than you needed. When it comes to servicing the Kubota, changing the engine oil is very similar to the oil change done in a car. It gets a bit more complicated if you want to change the fuel filter, the one that's placed near the fuel tank, because you need to remove the rear left wheel to reach it. Additionally, the water pump and alternator belt change could also seem complicated because you have to remove the drive shaft and the radiator fan. Other than that, it's fairly easy to get the job done. Another thing I have to mention is the fact that the transmission cannot be disengaged as on the other two tractors, which makes it a bit harder to move around the garage or shop when the engine is off. In contrast, with the support you get from the Toro official website, the Kubota lacks this kind of information like part list diagrams, original manufacturer codes, or any service manuals. There are some websites where you can find this kind of information, and for the service manual they're asking at least £19. I was able to find the operator's manual for free. It's in French and it was really helpful. Another detail I didn't like about this tractor was the Pto Brake. It's so poorly designed that you have to pay £90 for the whole brake arm instead of getting a new brake pad for maybe £10. But despite all this, the engine always starts quickly, runs sweetly, and is very easy to get access to adjust or service the brakes. I also like the steering column assembly, which is simple and durable, and the 4-wheel steer system, which gives the tractor an impressive maneuverability. John Deere. This tractor mower is well designed and well built, which is expected from this reputable machinery company. This one is a few years younger compared to the Kubota and the Toro wheel horse, and you can notice that by looking at the parts design and how well they are combined. On the other hand, in my opinion, using a lot of plastic for the front bumper and the bonnet was a bad idea, and I'm sure many would agree, simply because of the cost to buy new parts. Unlike the Toro and Kubota, where these parts are mainly made out of metal, making it much easier to fix bumps and then paint the part if needed, John Deere uses brittle plastic, which turned out to be very expensive brittle plastic. £44 for the middle bumper or over £600 for the whole bonnet is something to keep in mind. Another negative I experienced when servicing this tractor is the availability of parts. Very few are sold outside the dealer's network, at least in UK, which makes the competition be very small and in turn keeps the prices high. In some cases, these prices seem to be unreasonable. I know some people might say if you can't afford the maintenance, don't buy it, but I can still argue that statement. £71 for an air filter, I know it's a very important part which helps the engine last longer, but it's almost 3 times more expensive than genuine Kubota and 4.5 times more than a Toro's air filter, and is not gold plated. The same happens with the transmission filters, belts and some other parts you need many times during the tractor's lifetime. The user manual available on the official website is quite comprehensive, but unfortunately it can't be downloaded as a PDF file, for instance. This means that you have to use the website every time you need some of that information, unless you can have it printed, of course. I appreciated the fact that the user manual does specify the engine part numbers you need for the regular service, information which is not present in the Toro's or Kubota's user manual. On some other lawnmowers like Snapper, I've seen a sticker placed underneath the bonnet with this information. In addition to the user manual, on the official John Deere website, I could find all the part diagrams and codes I needed. However, the service manual is not free and you have to pay at least £8 to get it in digital format, which is still less than half compared with the Kubota, and it's worth every penny. From the service point of view, I liked how the John Deere engineers have designed the engine oil drain plug so that it makes absolutely no mess. The engine oil filter has a tray underneath also to minimize the used oil spill. It gets more complicated when changing the inline hydraulic filter because it is not very easy to get to. Some people remove the rear fender together with the seat and then the fuel tank, others lift the tractor in order to get it from underneath. After you manage to get to it, you need 4 different wrenches like 7/8, 13/16 or 1 inch, and some of them are usually big and heavy for the available space. For the transmission filter, you only need a 3/8 extension bar and it's very easy to reach to and have it changed. Another thing I liked was how easy it is to remove the bonnet in order to have access to the front part of the engine. If you need to change the air filter and thoroughly clean the filter housing, or you need access to the fuel injectors, the glow plugs and the fuel shutoff solenoid, it is surely easy to do it. All in all, I really like this tractor, but it has created quite a contrast. I loved it and hated it at the same time. Service cost. As you can see in the service interval chart data, which is taken from the original operator manuals, there aren't outstanding differences between these 3 tractors. The difference comes when we're talking about the cost to perform such routine maintenance. As you can see from the data I've put together, the John Deere is the most expensive one to maintain. These prices are applicable as of the 15th of February 2021 in the United Kingdom. All these parts are original equipment manufacturer, so I'm only comparing genuine parts. The first line filters kit means that the whole kit can be purchased at once from the same seller and includes a certain discount compared with the prices on the next 5 lines. John Deere doesn't have an entry because I got no discount from the dealer. Another thing I didn't like, and it's worth mentioning here, is the fact that Kubota uses 5.7 liters of super UDT transmission oil, but you can buy it only in 5 and 20 liter canisters, which means you'll pay a lot up front and be left with old oil on the shelf. In case you need a service manual for more complex repairs, I've added here the associated cost. The total price using genuine filters takes into consideration the filter kit option, and I've also added a new line at the end of the spreadsheet with an alternative option where I mixed non-genuine filters I found on different websites with genuine fluids, and you can see that in some cases it can reduce the total cost. If you decide to go for non-genuine fluids as well, then the cost can decrease further, but not by much. I don't want to give any advice at this point. Please buy the one you like or the one you can afford. Once again, it was a pleasure discovering and learning about these lawn tractors. I really enjoyed having them in my garage. All 3 of them are robust, long-lasting, and great to service, own, and use. Take care of your machinery and enjoy cutting the grass. Thanks for watching.